Why don't things get done? What excuses, what justification, what reasons do you come up with for not doing something that you know that you need to do? And the definition of discipline for a lot of people is do what you should do when you should do it, even if you don't feel like it. I use it every day as a definition of I want to be a disciplined person. But that last bit, even if you don't feel like it, could that be the reason, the justification, the excuse that people don't do stuff because they don't feel like it? So maybe the answer is, how do I motivate myself, inspire myself so I feel like it? So whatever job that I have to do, whatever mission that needs to be accomplished, whatever challenge has to be overcome, I'm excited about doing it rather than forcing myself to do it. Because if I have to force myself, I don't want to do it. Am I more likely to come up with excuses not to do it? Could the answer be yes? Haha. So why is it that some people get stuff done? We've all got 24 hours in a day. We've all got 7 days in a week. We've all got 365 days in a year. Some people look back over their day, their week, their month, their year and go, wow, I've accomplished everything I said I was going to. Some people have accomplished some things and not others. And some people have done none of the things they said they were going to do. So what's the difference? We all know what we should do and we know when we should do it. We know that procrastination is not a good idea. We know that we shouldn't put it off until tomorrow. So the challenge with I don't feel like it, how do you excite yourself to feel like it? Woohoo! So I'm going to use exercise because a lot of people call me a crazy person because I've exercised every day of my life since I was 10 years of age and now I'm a very old lady. I've never missed a day. But there is a reason for that, a very big reason. I don't want what happens to the human body to happen to my body. The people that don't exercise or the human bodies that don't exercise end up a certain way and I don't want to end up that way. So my motivating driving force is the pain of what will happen if I don't stay fit, strong and healthy. So that's how every day without missing, I exercise. I get puffed, I lift heavy, I overload my muscles and bones. I'm constantly staying in great shape because I don't want the opposite. It's my big why. So what is your reason why to do something? If you've got a big reason why, are you less likely to make excuses and justifications? If you've got a big reason why, wouldn't it just make sense that you'd be excited to do it? I want to do it. The psychologist, psychiatrist, behavioural scientist will share with us that most people are depressed because they don't have a purpose. They don't want to get up. They don't want to go and live their life because they don't have a reason to go and do something. But if you've got a great big reason why, then surely you will be more motivated to do it. So it's interesting, and I'll use this as a beautiful story. One of my students at the Max International Colleges was a single mum who had to drive. She lived in Sydney, Australia, and she had to drive. She's on the motorway, the freeway in Sydney, for about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours every day. So she was wasting 2 hours of her life driving. She hated her job, hated her boss, hated what she was selling, didn't want to be doing that anymore. But as a single mum who was spending a lot of time traveling, who had a full-time job, she didn't have a lot of time to study either. But she wanted to get out of her lousy, stinking, rotten job. So here's the thing. If you don't have time, what's the least amount of time, the minimum amount of time that you have? What's the tiniest amount of time that you can dedicate to the thing that's got to get done? Now for this mum, the only time she had to study was in the morning when she was putting her makeup on, having a shower, doing her hair, that process. She would listen to the program. So she didn't even watch the program, she just listened to it. It's a beautiful thing about not having to go to a classroom and not hanging out with a bunch of people who may or may not be as passionate as you are. She was passionate to get out of her lousy, stinking, rotten job, and she had a big why. She wanted to support her kids. So for a minimum of however long it took her to have a shower, do her hair and do her makeup every day, that was her bare ass minimum, her BAM time for doing something, because her big reason why was to get out of her lousy, stinking, rotten job. Well, she completed the program. She now has a home exercise studio and she earns more money than she ever did when she was working in an office, but now she doesn't have to leave her home. She doesn't have to drive on the motorway. She can spend multiple more hours with her children every week, and her life is completely different because she committed to a tiny amount of time every day. So the people who get stuff done, what's your big why? Why do you want to do something? If it's not important to you and if it doesn't matter, is it likely that you won't do it? A lot of people don't do housework or clean their car or look after themselves because they don't think it's important. Until something comes along, I have to sell my car or I have to sell my home or the doctor says I'm going to die, then sometimes those things that don't seem important become more important. So why do you need to do something? What's the minimum amount of time, that the bare ass minimum, I call it the BAM, that you can dedicate to this particular project every single day? And then here's the thing, do it every day. So when people say to me, how long should I exercise every day? And I always say the least amount of time possible. What's the least amount you can do to be the fittest, strongest and healthiest you can be? And that is a tiny amount of time. So if you get puffed for 10 seconds several times throughout the day, 10 seconds, not minutes, 10 seconds, because the phosphate system, the fight and flight system, the 100% effort system, is only 10 seconds. So whenever you've got a spare 10 seconds, if you were to dedicate that spare 10 seconds while you're waiting for the kettle to boil, the microwave to cook, the washing machine to finish, I'm known to sprint on the spot at the petrol station. And whenever you've got a spare 10 seconds, get puffed and you will become a fit person. Because every time you put in 100% effort, next time your body says, well, we've got to be fitter for next time. So you get fitter. It's a simple process. Same with getting stronger. You don't have to lift weights every day. You don't have to lift something heavy every day. You just have to be committed to using every single muscle, ligament, tendon, joint, bone in your body, overload them with something that's going to force them to get stronger. So that can be, yes, some weights. It can be your own body weight. It can be a box of rocks. It can be a wheelbarrow full of sand. It can be your own children. But if you are committed to a small amount of time to get stuff done. Study's an interesting thing. If you hate your job and you want to be doing something different, so you want to study to how do I run my own business, and of course running your own business is the most exciting way to live, isn't it? Choose your own hours, be your own boss. Choose when you want to go on holidays because it suits you. Choose the amount of money that you want to earn. Choose who you want to work with and what you want to sell or share with the general public. What a beautiful way to live. But if you don't have the skills to run a business, then your business will fail, of course. But if you say to yourself, I'm going to dedicate 7 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes every day to learn the skills of how to run a business, you will learn. You will get the skills that you need. Now, the beautiful thing is the more you do, the better you feel about yourself, and the better you feel about yourself, the more you do. And that's one of the things about committing to a small amount of time. If you say, I'm going to study for an hour and you only study for 45, you feel like a loser. But if you say, I'm going to study for 5 minutes every day, I'm going to commit, and I'll give it an uneven number, to 7.5 minutes of study every single day, without fail 7 days a week. If you do more than that, you feel good. You feel good about yourself, and I'm going to share it again. If I feel good about myself, then I'm more likely to do more. And if I do more, then I feel even better about myself. Versus if I set up unrealistic expectations. I'm going to exercise for an hour every day, which is a silly waste of time anyway, because you don't need an hour. But if you commit to an hour every day and you only do 45, you feel like you are a loser. I haven't done what I was supposed to do. But if you say, I'm going to do 7.5 minutes of interval sprint training every single day without fail, I'm never going to miss. And then some days you do more, then you're going to feel good about yourself, and the better you feel about yourself, the more that you do. So whatever it is that you've got to do, whether it's study to have a life that you love, and this is the beautiful thing, work backwards from the big goal. This is what I want. This is what I want to achieve. This is what elite athletes do. I want to win the world championship. I live with a world champion. I know how this headspace works. This is the date of the world championship. I have to weigh this particular weight to make weight for the championship. I have to be able to kick this high. I have to be able to punch this hard. I have to be able to last for 2 minutes at 100% effort. They're the things that world champion boxers, fighters do, and they work backwards from there so that when the time arrives, they're ready. So what is your goal? What do you want to achieve? And then what do you have to do to get there? What's your purpose? What's the big reason why you want to do it? And then do the steps take the steps that you need to take to achieve the goal. And if you don't want to do it because it's not important to you, don't waste time on it. Why do we do stuff that other people expect us to do? I exercise every day because I want to be a healthy, fit, strong human being, and I don't want to be fat, old, weak and frail. I don't need anybody to push me. I don't need to be motivated. I don't need anybody to hold me accountable, because I hold myself accountable. That's what champions do. So if you've got stuff to do, what's your big why? Commit to a tiny amount of time every day to doing it. If you commit to, and I'll use that small amount of time again, if you commit to 7.5 minutes of study every day, a lot of people come into the Max International Colleges to become a top-level exercise professional, to have the skills to run a business. Some days you might do more. But you will become qualified, you'll get the skills, tools and knowledge that you need, but most importantly, you'll feel good about yourself because you've made a commitment every single day to doing what you said you were going to do. And that's when you feel good, and that's when you can live your life to the max. Super duper doo, how are you? Living my life like a world champion because I get stuff done. Woohoo!